Guys, finally the long-awaited chapter of Hunter x Hunter has been released, bringing many revelations. Kurapika's intelligence shines as he explains Zhang Lei's guardian beast power. Halkenburg plays his last card, even though he's trapped in Balsami's body. Now, both souls reside in the same body, but he loses his priority. What will happen next? And the Phantom Troupe returns to the spotlight, appearing at the end of the chapter. All this and more. Please subscribe, like, and activate the bell. Let's dive into this insane review. So without further ado, let's get into the video. In Chapter 404 of Hunter x Hunter, which was recently released, Kurapika discovers something intriguing about the coins produced by Zhang Lei's guardian beast. In the previous chapter, he was trying to understand this ability and its variations, and he realizes that the coins can change value and design as they're passed along, suggesting a semi-coercive manipulation ability. Kurapika deduces that the guardian beast possesses a cumulative conjuration ability, allowing the accumulation of none over time. This discovery is crucial, as it indicates that the coins can be used for none in 6 months when they reach a high value. However, Kurapika also realizes that this ability will require pseudo-coercive loyalty to Zhang Lei. Zhang Lei's coin ability could be very useful in the succession war, but comes with some disadvantages. Let's compare this ability with Morina's. The coins allow the accumulation of none over time, increasing their value and utility as months pass. The ability requires loyalty, which can be used to ensure the allegiance of his allies. It takes time for the coins to gain significant value, which could be a disadvantage in a fast-paced war. The effectiveness of the coins depends on the loyalty of their users, which may be challenging to maintain in such a volatile environment. However, it could become less useful once Zhang Lei becomes king, unless another condition is discovered. In contrast, Morina can quickly convert followers to her side, instantly boosting her influence and power. Morina's followers gain a significant power increase, making them more effective combatants. However, her ability could attract attention and turn her followers into prime targets, increasing their risks. Loyalty among Morina's followers might be unstable, especially under pressure or attempts at subversion. The effectiveness depends on the context and strategy. Morina's ability is more immediate and aggressive, ideal for situations where quick power is necessary. Zhang Lei's coin ability is more strategic and long-term, suited for building a solid base of influence and power over time. Kurapika might find ways to use the coin ability to complement his strategies, especially if he can secure his allies' loyalty and accelerate the coin's value increase. Following this, we see that a decision to declare martial law would likely come from the ruling authority or military leaders involved. In a scenario with heightened tensions and intensifying conflicts, princes or authority figures, such as the King of Kaken or military leaders loyal to specific princes, may consider declaring martial law to control the situation. In the context of Hunter x Hunter, martial law could significantly impact the succession war. Let's explore what this means and how it could affect Kurapika, the third Prince Zhang Lei, and Halkenburg. Martial law is the direct imposition of military control over normal civil government functions, especially in response to a temporary emergency. In the manga, this could involve measures like curfews, movement restrictions, increased military presence, and suspension of certain civil liberties. Kurapika could face difficulties moving freely and continuing his investigations, hampering his ability to gather information and devise strategies. Access to certain locations and people might be restricted, limiting his communication and protection of allied princes. Kurapika would have to operate under intense military surveillance, making his actions riskier. Zhang Lei could see his authority questioned or limited by military control, making it harder to lead and coordinate his forces. Martial law could exacerbate internal conflicts, especially if soldiers have divided loyalties or rival princes try to exploit the situation. If Halkenburg were still alive, martial law could interfere with his plans, making it harder to execute strategies due to increased security and surveillance. His supporters might struggle to help him or follow his orders under strict military regulations. The declaration of martial law would escalate already high tensions in the succession war, increasing the likelihood of violent clashes. It could shift power dynamics, with some princes gaining an advantage while others lose influence and control. Characters like Kurapika would have to adapt their strategies quickly to operate under the new restrictions, ensuring their allies' survival and protection. Fascinating how these developments could shape the succession war's course, right? We also learn about Halkenburg's arrows, or rather, about souls themselves. Halkenburg's arrows possess a unique and incredibly powerful ability called the boy who shoots the arrow, Grimmel the Dissonance. When someone is struck by these arrows, their soul is controlled by Halkenburg, allowing him full control over the victim's body. This ability is quite terrifying as it strips the person of free will, turning them into Halkenburg's servant. It's a manipulation technique showing how far Halkenburg is willing to go to achieve his objectives in the succession war. In the current chapter, Halkenburg's ability, the boy who shoots the arrow, Grimmel the Dissonance, is explored further. When someone is struck by his arrows, their soul is controlled by Halkenburg, giving him total control over their body. This manipulation ability is powerful and frightening as it robs the victim of free will, turning them into a loyal servant. Additionally, the chapter addresses the concept of soul exchange. When Halkenburg uses his arrow ability, he essentially transfers his own soul into the victim's body and vice versa. This creates a deep bond between the controller and the victim, allowing Halkenburg to manipulate the person's actions precisely. Halkenburg can fully control the victim, eliminating any resistance or free will. The process involves a soul exchange, creating a connection that Halkenburg can exploit to his advantage. This complex ability adds an intriguing and frightening layer to the succession war, showing how far Halkenburg is willing to go to achieve his goals. Interesting how these abilities shape the course of events. It's revealed that only one soul can remain awake at a time when Halkenburg uses his soul exchange ability. This means that when Halkenburg takes control of the victim's body, his own soul is active, while the victim's soul is essentially asleep or suppressed. The ability allows only one soul to remain conscious, ensuring Halkenburg has total control over the victim's body without interference. The victim's soul is suppressed, unable to exercise any will or resistance while Halkenburg is in control. Halkenburg takes complete control of Balsamilko's body while Balsamilko's soul is suppressed and asleep. Halkenburg can control all of Balsamilko's actions, using his body to advance his own goals in the succession war. Balsamilko's soul remains suppressed while Halkenburg is in control, unable to exercise any will of its own. This strategic ability allows Halkenburg to manipulate and influence the war significantly, making him an even more formidable figure in the struggle for the throne. During the body swap performed by Halkenburg with his Nun ability, two souls are present in Balsamilko's body, Halkenburg's soul and Balsamilko's original soul. However, only one soul can be awake and in control of the body at any time. And now that Halkenburg's body has killed his own, who controls Balsamilko's body, everything could change during this time.
Exactly.
Halkenburg's body-swapping ability and taking control have a time limit. He can control Balsamilko's body for only 10 hours. After that period, he must return to his own body. This creates a sense of urgency and strategy, as Halkenburg must make the most of this time to advance his goals in the succession war. Halkenburg plans to use his soul-swapping ability to possess Benjamin's body. His goal is to take control of Benjamin to manipulate his actions and further his strategy in the succession war. Halkenburg's soul manipulation ability gives him a powerful tool to directly influence his rivals and protect his allies. This intention to possess Benjamin shows how far Halkenburg is willing to go to secure the throne. Halkenburg risks losing his strategy if Balsamilko manages to awaken his soul during the control period. If Balsamilko regains consciousness and control of his own body before the 10 hours are up, Halkenburg would lose the advantage and total control of the situation. Balsamilko's soul could fight to regain control, creating an internal conflict that could interfere with Halkenburg's actions. If Balsamilko regains control, Halkenburg would not only lose his advantage, but could also face immediate risks, including retaliation from Benjamin or his allies. Halkenburg must carefully navigate these challenges to ensure his plan succeeds, preventing Balsamilko from awakening and compromising his strategy. These dynamics add a layer of tension and complexity to the succession war. Benjamin requests that Halkenburg's body be transported. This is part of his strategy to keep Halkenburg under surveillance and control. With Halkenburg's body being transported, this allows him, even in Balsamilko's body, to be close enough to his supporters to shoot arrows and manipulate souls. This allows Halkenburg, in Balsamilko's body, to stay near his supporters and continue using his soul-swapping and arrow manipulation abilities. This action demonstrates the complexity and depth of Halkenburg's strategies in the succession war, taking every opportunity to maintain his advantage. We also see Fugetsu, who could die at any moment. If he is indeed dying, the fate of his nun beast could be crucial to the unfolding of the succession war. Nun beasts are complex manifestations that generally disappear when their user dies, but there are cases where they may continue to exist for a limited time or even transfer their abilities. The long-awaited participation of the Phantom Troupe in the succession war is always a point of high tension. In the next chapter, we could see direct confrontations with other princes and guards, leading to intense battles. The Phantom Troupe is known for its manipulation tactics and ambush strategies. They can continue to use these skills to destabilize their opponents. Their actions could significantly influence the course of the war, either favoring one side or creating chaos and destruction. I hope the focus is really on them. Well, I'll end my video here. Until next time, everyone, thanks.